Alright, Dokkaners, happy Thanksgiving. Dropping tonight, we have the next Dokkan Fest. This December Dokkan Fest will be TEQ Buuhan. TEQ Buuhan leads power absorption or transformation boost, E+3 HP attack and defense plus 170%. He also gives an additional 30% HP attack and defense to artificial life forms or uncontrollable power. Now for Buuhan's passive, his passive, Power merged with Buu, gives the following. For stats, Buu gets Ki +2 and attack and defense plus 200%, and he gets an additional attack and defense plus 58% when attacking. Now the next part of Buu's passive is built in two parts. The first half is for the shorter format fights, and the second half is for the long format fights. For the shorter format fights, Buu gets attack and defense plus 100% and a 50% chance to crit for 6 turns. Starting from the 7th turn, Buu will get a 50% chance to dodge, and he will get an additional attack that has a 70% chance to be a super. Buu also has restrictions built in his passive, but if you meet those restrictions, it'll be a huge boost to both Buu and the team. The restriction is if there is a power absorption or transformation boost ally on rotation, Buu will get an additional attack plus 50%, an additional crit chance plus 50%, and Buu will give extreme class allies Ki +2 and attack and defense plus 50%. Now for defense, Buu's passive is somewhat limited. He guards all attacks, but the only other thing he has is a defensive boost that is predicated on the amount of HP he has when he first receives an attack. So for the most part, Buu is better in slot 2 than slot 1 because he can do a lot of damage, especially at the beginning of fights, but he does not have the defensive capabilities to stand up to most of the big supers. Now Buu does come with an active skill, Body Absorption. This active skill can be activated if all allies on rotation are power absorption category, or on turn 6 from start of battle. This will allow Buu to activate his domain and change back into Super Buu. This is where the real bread and butter of this Buu unit is. Buu's domain gives power absorption or transformation boost characters attack and defense plus 15%. It also gives Majin Buu Saga characters attack and defense plus 15%. Now while in his domain, Buuhan will turn back into Super Buu and will get his own passive. The passive, Demonic Maze, gives the following. For stats, Ki +6 and attack and defense plus 300%, an additional attack plus 100% when attacking. This passive gives a crazy amount of additional supers. It gives one additional super with 3 Ki Spirits obtained, another additional super with 6 Ki Spirits obtained, and another additional super if the enemy is in the Patara category. That means in his domain, Buu can do 5 supers. We'll get into why that's crazy in just a little bit. Now defensively, Buu's a lot better within his domain. He gets damage reduction plus 70% and he gets additional defense plus 40% when receiving an attack within the turn. Buu also changes AGL orbs to TEQ orbs. This should help you get to the 6 Ki Spirits you need for Buu's supers. Buu also recovers 30% HP at the end of the turn while in this domain. Now let's talk about why all those additionals are really crazy. Buu's super attack effects are different depending on whether he's in or outside of his domain. Outside of his domain, Buu's 12 key super Ghost Kamikaze attack gives an attack and defense plus 50% for 1 turn and causes immense damage to the enemy. Inside the domain, Buu's 12 key super Ill Surprise stacks attack by 100% and causes immense damage to the enemy. It also has a 50% chance to stun the enemy. That means you have the potential to stack 500% attack in 1 turn. That is insane. Now let's take a look at Buu's super attack animations and his domain animations. Now Buu over here has some very good links. Buu has Majin, Ki +2 and attack and defense plus 15%, Metamorphosis, recover 5% HP, and attack and defense plus 10%. Shocking speed, key plus 2 and defense plus 5. Big bad bosses, which is attack and defense plus 25%. Fear Faith, which is key plus 2 and all enemies minus 10% defense. The Wall Standing Tall, which disables enemies' true power and attack plus 20%. And Fierce Battle, which is attack plus 20%. Considering you're probably going to run a Majin Buu build team, most of these links will be activated, which is a huge boost to Buuhan's stats. Now going into that, what do I think Buu's best case scenario is? Well, for me, you gotta activate that domain as soon as possible. Buuhan works best in that Majin Buu power absorption team, which will allow his domain to be activated as soon as possible. Getting that domain out allows you to stack attack and destroy enemies with supers. This also helps make him more dangerous outside his domain. Now, as for what to do when he's not in his domain, Buuhan is better in slot 2 than slot 1, right? But he has potential. He's best in slot 2 because he has high damage potential and guaranteed crits, but not necessarily a strong defensive presence, considering he only really has guard. If you really need to run Buuhan slot 1, it's better if it's past turn 6. Buuhan getting the dodge on turn 7 really is his best defensive mechanic. Now for Buu's categories, Buu has the following: Majin Buu Saga, Artificial Life Forms, Transformation Boost, Uncontrollable Power, Majin Power, Power Absorption, Demonic Power, Final Trump Card, Worldwide Chaos, and Sworn Enemies. Now Buu's banner unit is on the super class side of things. Buu's banner unit is STR Grand Supreme Kai. Grand Supreme Kai leads Majin Buu Saga, key plus 3, HP attack and defense plus 130%. Now while Buu was extreme class focused, Grand Supreme Kai is super class focused. His passive, strategy against the Majin, gives the following. For stats, Grand Supreme Kai gets attack and defense plus 200% when attacking, and key plus 1 up to 4, and attack and defense plus 50% up to 200% per superclass ally on the team, excluding the Grand Supreme Kai. Grand Supreme Kai also gets defense plus 100% after receiving an attack within the turn. Additionally, he gets attack plus 200% if he's facing a Majin Power enemy. Defensively speaking, Grand Supreme Kai is fairly limited as well. He has a 50% chance to guard, which becomes a 100% chance to guard if all allies on the rotation are Majin Buu Saga. Now where Grand Supreme Kai excels is in his support. He gives Majin Buu Saga or Patara allies key plus 1 and attack defense plus 40%. Additionally, he gives Realm of God category allies key plus 1 and attack defense plus 20%. So someone like a Super Vegito would get a huge boost by having a Grand Supreme Kai on the team. Grand Supreme Kai also has one additional built into his kit. That one additional is an attack with a 70% chance to be a super with a Majin Buu Saga ally on rotation. Grand Supreme Kai's link set is very niche and not very good, I would say. His link skills: Master of Magic, attack plus 50%, all enemies minus 10% defense. Cold Judgment, which is defense plus 25%. Enemy CI, attack and defense plus 10%. Telekinesis, all enemies minus 20% defense. Godly Power, which is attack plus 15%, and crit chance plus 5%. Supreme Power, which is attack and defense plus 10%, and activates penetration. And Fierce Battle, which is attack plus 20%. Supreme Kai really doesn't have any good linking partners that you would want to run on the team. Now in terms of Supreme Kai's super attack, the effect is pretty decent. His super attack, Grand Supreme Divide, he has attack and defense plus 50% for one turn and causes supreme damage to the enemy, and also guarantees a seal. Pretty good, not amazing in a way. Let's take a quick look at the Grand Supreme Kai's animations. Now, what's the best case scenario for our chubby Kai over here? For the Grand Supreme Kai, it's a slot 3 support role. He's best in the supporting role for a team full of superclass allies, all of them being Majin Buu Saga, preferably. You mainly want to get allies of the superclass variety that fit the categories that Grand Supreme Kai supports. That way, the Grand Supreme Kai can guarantee guard and still support all his allies. Now, offensively speaking, the Grand Super Kai is kind of a Majin Power merchant. He's going to get the massive stat boost offensively if you're fighting a match power enemy. Other than that, I wouldn't expect him to do anything offensively. You mainly want him just to float and support the team. With that being said, you don't really need crit in his hidden potential system. You mainly want dodge and balance additional. That way he has the most survivability and he can continue to support. As far as categories go, the Grand Suikai is only on 4 categories. He is on Majin Buu Saga, Tara, Realm of Gods, and Story Figures. Now, should you summon? It really depends. The Buuhan looks really good, but if you don't have a team for him, it's not worth it. You should wait and see what the banner has on it, see if it has any value worth summoning for. If not, skip it. Anniversary is literally 2 months away. Now keep in mind, for part 2, it is a Carnival LR. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be related to Buuhan in any sort of way. Last year it was Android 21, and then it went into the Super Saiyan trio. Those have no relations. So I would urge you to just be smart with your stones. You don't have a lot, don't summon. You have plenty, maybe get 1 or 2 rotations, because Buuhan looks really good. Grand Suikai is kind of mid, but there's potential for him depending on what the part 2 LR is, as well as if you have the team for him. With all that being said, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving and choose to spin your stones wisely. Are you going summons for Buuhan? Let me know in the comments down below. I hope to see you guys in the next video.